Okay, welcome back to Road to Rank 1. We'll jump right into it. Last time we went 5-0, so it's pretty good. Today we're playing the Emerald mid-range list from the top 8 of the Lorcana HQ, so I'll throw the deck list up now. And then 2 hours from when this video releases, I'll be posting a deck guide, so make sure you're tuned for that. And then, yeah, I just think at the start of the series, especially, we're going to be playing a lot of Emerald, just because you can win games very quickly. And because we're kind of low ladder, I think we're going to be playing against a lot of aggro, so I think this list is kind of good at beating aggro, whether you want to race it, or if you want to like just beat it basically. So we play Steel to kind of have that like board clear, and then we have the Emerald to use that aggression. So we see like a lot of cards, like even in our hand we've got Cusco, Mad Hat Hands, they request for free, which is an awful lot. So we'll definitely want to go for this turn 4 Tink Shift, and then we can play Whole New World after that, refill our hand. Yeah, so we'll just ink this Mad Hatter, I don't think we're going to need to use it, and then we can play a Simba. We're against Sapphire, so they might be a bit slow. We can definitely get rid of one of the cats, that'll be fine. And then, yeah, I like the look of this list. I've not tried it too much yet, so I'm liking it so far. Like I say, you have the aggro of Emerald, you have the kind of mid-range of Steel, which is really good, just kind of like the Tink package in general. And then, yeah, you combine them, and it's like opposites kind of attract, which is quite cool. And you have the card draw of Whole New World, obviously, which is a really good card. So we can just go ahead and ink this Gothel. We're probably going to use Whole New World before we get to 6 ink anyway. And then, do we want to quest with this Simba? We might as well. Let's not. We don't want them to use the grammar to ramp up too fast. Especially since we don't want to give them the free ink. But yeah, so last time we went 5-0, which is really good. We did play Evasives, which is kind of like underrated. I probably should have saved that for a later on, because I think that's probably my best deck at the moment. But the longer we go on, the less kind of aggro we'll probably play. We'll probably pivot more towards playing like an Amethyst control list, just because I feel like that's better the higher up you go. You can obviously cheese some wins out with aggro still, but I just expect a bit of Emerald for the first episodes at least. Okay, cool. So we can definitely ink Mad Hatter again, and then we can just go for Tink. And then next time we can clear this board. I'm not questing with the Simba because I don't want them to just get the free ramp. And plus, both of these Grammars are gonna like die soon anyway, so just getting the 2 quests is fine, really. And then we can start going really fast. So once we play Tink, we can then play like Cusco, and then play Hans, and then like Whole New World, stuff like that. Just the average like Steel kind of game plan. For the CTs is cool as well. So we're going to completely board wipe here, so we can get rid of so on turn 4 we're going to play Tinkerbell, turn 5 we'll probably play Cusco, and then turn 6 we'll probably play Whole New World, but we might play Hans and Flynn, so we can get rid of Cat now. And then we can shift for sure, and that will clear the whole board. And yeah, that's just kind of the things that Tinkerbell can do on their own, let alone kind of once you get going with the pings and the grab your sword and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like this deck list is quite good because when you play Emerald lists normally, unless you're playing the Amethyst one, you don't really have any card draw, so you're kind of just playing like your whole hand out and just hoping that the opponent does have an answer. But with Steel, you've got the Whole New World obviously, which is really good. I feel like Steel's like really good actually. I think it is carried by Tinkerbell and Whole New World, to be honest, but those cards are good enough to carry this ink for sure. It's kind of like saying that Emerald's carried by Cusco, which isn't entirely true, but so they're going to use that Dragonfire on Tinkerbell, which is totally fine. We can just drop a Cusco this turn. We can ink this Tink. And then I think if we draw an Inkable, we can totally just go Hans, Flynn, Rider. It's so much tempo. And we're playing against Sapphire, Ruby, so they have no card draw. So, we want to kind of use this Whole New World when's best for us. We don't just want to refresh their hand. So they play Robin Hood there, they miss out on the card draw, which is great. And then yeah, definitely inking Mad Hat here is fine. We don't want the card draw because we have Whole New World. And also Hans on its own quests for the same amount, so we're still just questing for more here. So kind of just going for this aggro game plan now. And as you can see, we're already +9 off of this. And they can play Be Prepared, sure. That's kind of the only thing I'm worried about, but I think just having the threat is enough. And then that's the whole turn spent anyway. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Emerald actually. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I initially thought I would. But yeah, I really like just the fact that the cards are just so effective on their own. You don't really need anything else with them. Yeah, this is fine. So we can trade this Hans into the Robin Hood, I think. Or I think it might be better just to quest. I like the kind of tempo. Oh yeah, for sure. So I'll definitely just play this. And then quest. And then they either can attack into the Flynn and then discard a card, which is going to be like huge because they don't have any card draw. Especially because they only got one card in hand. The Robin Hood isn't going to draw a card for them. And then if they hit into the Hans, it's just doing the trade that we were going to do anyway. And they have to hit something, or otherwise we just have lethal on board. So yeah, cool. Really good start. Going 6-0, hopefully, at the end of this game. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys as well for the support. It's been crazy. I think I only started like 3 weeks ago, and I'm already at like crazy numbers. So I really appreciate that. So thanks so much for people that continue to watch, and all the comments, whether it's positive or negative, because you can always learn from negative comments. So, yeah, I just want to say thanks for that. Just want to put it in the video somewhere. Okay, cool. So there's Hades going to get rid of Gothel, which is fine. And then they're going to quest with Robin Hood. I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, we can just play our cards now and quest. Yeah, so Cheshire Cat. The reason I play Cheshire Cat there instead of Whole New World is because they have to. We go to 18, and then they have to deal with the cat as well as everything else because it's going to quest for 2, which means they're going to need a Hades, a Dragonfire, you know, something like that, just to get rid of this 2-drop, or I guess 3-drop. Sorry. So yeah, really good start. I think I'm going to do 5 games again. I'm not sure how long to make these videos because you need to play a lot of games to get to rank 1. Or at least to a high rank, which is, you know, the goal. So I'm thinking I might just add some highlights. So yeah, opponent's going to play everything there, and yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get the win in the first game here. Cool. Up to Wood 2. Okay, cool. So going second, our starts looking pretty good. I'm gonna hold this big tink, I think. Sure. We can always just use it for ink, or yeah. So we find the baby tink there, and then opponent's going first, so we can kind of scout out what they're playing. I did originally play this list to kind of counter aggro decks, but okay, cool. So we hit aggro. And it's interesting that we played against a ramp deck in game 1 and still won pretty convincingly. So I'll drop Duke there. I am fully expecting a Simba, I'll be honest. Lilo Simba is kind of like a really good start for aggro. Amber's an interesting one because initially, people thought that it was going to be very strong, but we see in the top 8 deck lists of yesterday's video that it didn't have any showing in top 8, whereas every other ink did. So just something interesting to think about. I think it will kind of dominate as like a mid-range list once the next set comes out, because I feel like Princess is going to get loads of support. I'm just excited. You can see that the developers are really like pushing archetype support, but we're just waiting for like one more set for it to really take off. So I'm really excited for the future of this game. I feel like there'll definitely be like, it will get very in-depth, very techy very quickly. So yeah, I'm thinking on turn 4 if I want to play the Hans or the Shift Tink. It kind of depends what the opponent plays, because I kind of like the Hans for like the ping damage and the questing, but I guess Tink can do that as well. And if we're playing against Amber, they're not going to have anything to remove it, so I think I just answered my own question. I think we will go for the Tink on turn 4, and then hopefully next turn the opponent plays like a bunch of 1-drops. That would be great. So yeah, the list is having quite a good showing at the moment. Initially I kind of thought like, oh, it's an aggro ink and a control ink, so they weren't mixed together, but they've come together to make this really fast mid-range list, which yeah, seems pretty good. Okay, cool. So opponent just kind of waited out the timer there, so you know, hopefully they've not DC'd or anything. We'll go ahead and ink Cat. I feel like Hans is just better to keep. Then we can go turn 3 tank, and then we can just quest with everything. Okay, so the opponent's back. They took a while, but they're back. So they ink Stitch and play an Aladdin, which is fine. And then hopefully they quest with this Mickey. Yeah, great. So we can go ink this Hans. And then we can shift into tank and then clear their board. And just again, like showing how much steel complements the Emerald aggro game plan. It did give us 3 damage on the tank, but it's fine. I'd much rather clear their board and just keep this aggression up, basically. then I'm going to ink another Stitch. So 5 ink to play with. I think next turn, if we draw an Ink Ball, we can just play Whole New World and refresh our hand. Don't mind refreshing the opponent's hand, because we're stronger on board, I think it's fine, especially if we sing it. Then we definitely can do that. Or the other option, I guess, is to kind of wait it out till we get Genie, and then just kind of clear their board as it goes, which is something we can do as well. But I think we can maybe play Whole New World is just better, just to accelerate this lead that we've got. The opponent doesn't really seem to have much. Amber's one of those inks where you need to get going from like turn 1, and just you need to keep the pressure up, and it's turn 5 and the opponent's already fallen behind, so I don't think they're gonna like really be doing much. Okay, cool, so opponent taking a long time to pass there as well. So we're gonna ink this Kristoff, and then we can just play Whole New World. Do I want to sing it? Yeah, I'll sing it. We don't want to worry too much about like questing at the moment, and we can just kind of establish a really big board. Cool, especially with this Mother Knows Best. So what we can do is we can probably play Mother Knows Best and then play a Duke, or we can just... So we're definitely going to quest with these. And then, thinking if I actually just want to play a card, I think I will just play Hans and a Duke. The opponent isn't really doing much, so I think just kind of trying to end this game as fast as possible is kind of our best bet. We could bounce the Moana, but I think I'll save this for a bigger threat, since a 1/6 isn't really too scary, and if they quest with it, it's like we don't really care. So they're going to ink Fu. And then, yeah, they're not really doing much, so like I say, really good kind of like control from us, showing off the steal control with the Emerald aggression. I keep saying it, but you know, it's kind of just what you want to do with this deck, and it's working absolutely amazing, I'll be honest. And like I say, a guide for this will be up 2 hours from now, or tomorrow, either one, it depends if it's done. So check in 2 hours, if it's not there, it'll be up tomorrow. So opponent's playing some evasives and some Stitches, but I think it might be too little too late. If we just quest with everything and play another Tink, then yeah, we should be good. We can also bounce and play a smaller Tink, but I don't think we need to do that. So we can... Do we want to hit this? Yeah, we would definitely hit into this Moana, actually. And then it didn't let me use Tinkerbell's ability, but that's fine, I guess. We'll just go ahead and quest with everything but this one Duke, and then we'll quest with this other Duke. And then we'll just play this Hans, ink this Beast Mirror, and then we don't want to necessarily walk into a Be Prepared. I don't think the opponent will have it, but we don't really need to establish the board past this. Realistically, we didn't need to play this Hans either. But you know, I don't think the opponent will have Be Prepared. Just looking at their list, it looks more aggressive than control, so if they Be Prepared us, then fair enough, but I don't think it's enough to win at all. There was a part of me that wanted to bounce the Stitch in case they shifted, but I don't think shifting into a Rockstar Stitch is going to do enough at this stage anyway. I feel like they just didn't get ahead in the early game, which is what they needed to do, and they didn't do it. So yeah, we should be good to just go ahead and close this game out next turn. I don't think the opponent can really do anything from this point. So yeah, let's hopefully another win. Yep, so opponent just playing cards. Like I say, don't think they can do much from this point on. Another quick-ish win, I guess. Not the fastest win I've had, but definitely a really fast one. You can see just kind of like playing cards that quest for a lot and like have like kind of smaller stats might be like the way forward for like aggressive lists. I guess that's kind of what aggressive lists are doing anyway, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you'd rather play a card that can quest for a lot than, you know, just having good stats, which is different from other board games that I've played, or card games. So yeah, there's another one. Hopefully we can get over with in this video. Let's go to the next one. Okay, cool, so I think this is the third game, going first this time, which is fantastic. We always want to go first. So I will keep the Duke, I think it's fine, and then I'll keep the Tink again, just kind of hoping that we draw into the smaller Tink, which means we can probably get rid of this cat actually. It's kind of like a high rolly strat actually, but I can probably keep the cat anyway, and then just do this. And then we can always ink the Tink if we don't find a smaller one, which we didn't. But we have no card draw, so we want to keep Beast Mirror. Then we've got quite a nice curve, so I think actually I will ink this Mad Hatter. and then just play Duke. Kind of want to save this Tink. I can ink it next turn, but I just want to kind of draw as many cards as I can and to see if I get the smaller one. Which hopefully we do. Well, it depends what kind of matchup we're playing. It looks like we're playing as Amethyst, so we see a stopwatch, so that kind of indicates me towards Ruby Amethyst control, so we should play accordingly to that. And our game plan in this one is to just like rush the opponent down, I think. You don't want to like play the long game with them because they will inevitably just win. We've not got the tools really in this deck to deal with it. So we will go ahead and ink Kristoff, because I think the cat's better because it trades itself. But if they're playing smaller units, maybe the Kristoff's better. So we'll ink the cat, and then we'll just go Flynn, and then we'll quest. And then good thing about them playing the 1/3 is that it's going to take 2 hits to trade into this Duke, so we get one extra quest, one extra law, whatever it's called, out of it, which is good. And then we can play Flynn. Hopefully I don't play too much card draw. I don't think this list plays Beast, so we won't be able to get rid of their magic mirrors. Which is kind of like the way you beat this matchup with Steel, is that you just get rid of all their card draw. You know, you like get rid of their queens, get rid of their magic mirrors, and you should have a fine time because they won't be able to draw cards. But yeah, next time we go into Kristoff, and then turn after that we can go into Hans. And then yeah, opponent's going to befuddle off Flynn, which is definitely going to slow us down for sure. But we should be good. So I'm thinking if I still want to play as Flynn next turn, or if I want to. Okay, opponent quest, which is actually good for us. So we draw Cusco, which is actually fantastic. So I can ink Flynn here, because I think from this point forward, I'm not going to be needing it. Because I can just go Kristoff now, and then quest with this. Just kind of want to get in like a really scary position before they hit 7 ink, because then they can use Be Prepared every turn, and then we just kind of lose the game from that point. But yeah, hopefully we can just beat them down pretty quickly. Our start's okay. It's not the best start I've seen, but it's definitely okay. It's kind of the thing with like when you play Emerald aggro, you kind of just want to like play cards and turn them sideways basically. Not too much to really talk about. Beast Mirror is really good inclusion. People have been saying that they don't understand why you want to play Beast Mirror and a Whole New World. The reason is because Whole New World is fantastic when you can play it and then play another one and then play another one and then play another one. But if you don't have them, just using Beast Mirror to like dig for an extra one is just always good. I'm thinking if we want to use this smaller Tink, I don't think we really need to. So we can just ink it. The reason is because we're going to go turn 4 Hans, turn 5 Cusco, and then turn 6 Tink, so it doesn't matter if we shift or not. And then I'm just going to quest with all of this. Like I say, we just want to go really fast. And if we hit this Kristoff into this Olaf, the Elsa can hit it, which sure does like trade off someone else ball control. But like I say, we're playing around Be Prepared, so we're just kind of expecting a Be Prepared, and we kind of want to get as much out of our deck before they use Be Prepared really. Turn 5 Cusco is going to be really, really good, because they're not going to be able to have anything to deal with it. And it trades itself, so it's a guaranteed free law, maybe 6, and then maybe 9, you never know. This card can like really go crazy. It's definitely one of those like aggro like staples. It kind of like is really hard to play around, which is why personally I really like Ruby Emerald. Sure, it has no card draw, but if you can get Cusco and like a shield or a LeFou and just ready it every turn, you have this like invincible Cusco basically. Sure, the opponent can like use Be Prepared and stuff, but like that's such a big commitment for one 5-drop, and then you just play another one. So the opponent's going to spend an awful lot of resources there to get rid of like one card. So we can go play Cusco, and then I think we've just got so much tempo from this point forward. And yeah, like I say, that's what this deck wants us to do. Just get as much tempo as possible and just keep going with it. I would have to play Cusco now. Normally you want to save Cusco for after they use Be Prepared, but if you do it on turn 5, then you have at least 2 turns to like play with it. So that's good there. I'm thinking next turn if I want to use Beast Mirror, and then like we can ink the Tink and play something cheap, and then just like start drawing cards until we can find Whole New World. Might be a way forward, but the opponent seems like they're in quite a dead spot, so I don't want to just like refill their hand basically. So it really depends what they play this turn. Turn 5, you're kind of expecting like a Maui or a Dragonfire. Yep, so there's the Dragonfire, and that's the whole turn spent, so they're quite low on cards. So I don't really want to play Whole New World, but we have it now, so we can definitely ink the Beast Mirror, just play Tink. We're not going to get the 1 ping, but like I say, we're just trying to get the quest points out of it. So we're already at 12, and then I think we're looking good. It's important to note that Cusco can also sing Whole New World as well, so you have a lot of targets that can sing Whole New World. Next turn is the big turn 7, so I'm not going to play a unit, I don't think, if I draw it. There's another Dragonfire, which is good. Opponent has 2 cards in hand, so thinking about it, yeah, I'm not going to play this Cusco, and I'm not going to play Whole New World. The reason is because if I play Cusco and they use Be Prepared, we kind of lose, or like we lose a lot of tempo, and if we play Whole New World, we might draw them into the Be Prepared. Whereas right now we're on 16, we have 4 on board, so they need to have a Rush card or another Dragonfire on this 1-drop, which is just really good value for us. And then even after they do that like huge turn, we just drop another Cusco and then Whole New World. So we don't mind if they Be Prepared us now, because we have answers for it. But you don't want to play everything you've got just to play everything you've got, because that's just a surefire way to get punished. And I think the opponent's not got nothing to really do anything. The only answer they've got in their deck, I think, is Rafiki, which has Rush and free. But even if they do that, we just like Quest with Cusco, and then the Rafiki can't even trade into it because it only has free attack. So we just win from that point, and then if they have answers, like I say, we just drop it over Cusco. So there's the concession. We're at Wood 1, so hopefully we can hit Bronze in this episode, which would be like a massive step forward. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Alright, going first again, so really good. We got a really solid start. I'm going to keep one of the Whole New Worlds, so I'm going to keep Kristoff, the Flynn, and the Simba, get rid of one of the Mother Knows Best, but then we are playing with a lot of uninkable cards, but I think that should be fine. Yes, we can just ink Mad Hatter on turn 1, and then we can go into Simba, and then see what we get out of the draw. We get Genie, so we can probably discard Genie actually. Yeah, we can discard Genie. We don't know what the opponent's playing, so there might be something better to discard there, but just for now I think discarding Genie's fine. We have Mother Knows Best if we're playing against like a scary deck. Okay, so we see Mad Hatter Ink, so we're probably playing against aggro. Okay, definitely playing against aggro. So we're playing against, I think the community is kind of called this one Lemon and Lime. I think it was popularized by Steadfast. But yeah, we should have a fine matchup against this. Like I say, we have Tink for the control, and we've got Mother Knows Best for the bounce. So we should be fine. Hopefully we top deck an uninkable, not uninkable, an inkable card, sorry. And then we can slowly curve out into this Tink. And then we can just go from there. Cool, you always want to play, with Amber decks that are aggressive, you want to play around the turn 4 Rockstar Shift, because that's a huge tempo swing for the opponent, and you definitely do not want that to happen. And then you should be fine, really. Like I say, this list is really good at dealing with aggro, which I think we're going to see a lot of at the lower ladder. So that's why I've chosen it, but yeah. Cool, they also run very little card draw. Like I say, the only card draw they kind of have is from the Rockstar Stitch and from Rapunzel, so as long as you keep all their stuff kind of full health and bounce the Stitch on turn 3, you should be fine. And that's one thing where like the skill of like playing bounce kind of comes from, is just knowing when and what to bounce. So it's like when you're playing aggressive and you see the opponent play like a Tink on turn 3, bounce it. If you see a Stitch set up in an aggressive Amber list on turn 3, bounce it. But you can also use the card late game. So if you're like got really good ball control and the opponent plays a really strong card, you can just bounce it as well. Saves you like a whole turn. So yeah, what I can do is I can probably bounce this Simba and then kill the Stitch, might be better, or I can just kill the Simba with this. We can also sing it, but that doesn't really do us much, and we unfortunately don't have enough ink balls to like not ink this Tink. So we'll ink the Tink, and then we will use Kristoff to hit into Simba, and then we'll use Mother Knows Best on the Stitch, just because I really want to deny that the Rockstar Shift, and then we'll Quest of Everything. And then yeah, next time we can use Whole New World. Hopefully the opponent's holding like a Rockstar Stitch, so we can just like essentially get rid of at least one of them. They might draw into another one, but just getting rid of that option is good. So they ink the Stitch that we bounced. And yeah, we got good ball control, so we should be looking good. There's another Stitch. So the shift is inevitable, but turn 5 is like fine, but I definitely do not want the turn 4 shift. So we can go ink Flynn, and then play Whole New World. We are going to refresh the hand, but it's totally fine at this point. We can go like, yeah, Cusco, Mad Hatter, hands. We can use another whole new world if we want. Yeah, really like this hand, so I'm not too pressed. And then we can go ahead and quest with everything. We can hit Kristoff into the Duke, but I think just trying to get this tempo is a lot better. Expecting the opponent to shift into the Rockstar Stitch here. We don't have an answer for it, but we do have like a strong enough board to not have to really worry. Next turn we can go into Cusco, and then we can just go into like 2 Mad Hatters, and that should be enough to win us the game. Opponent doesn't have any like board clear in Emerald Amber. Yeah, so there's the concession. Really well played from us there, and yeah, 1 game away from bronze. Okay, so the 5th and final game of this episode, we see probably the worst mulligan I think I've ever seen in my entire life. We will keep one of the whole new worlds. No, you know, I think you might want to keep it, but I'll just get rid of all of it. And then yeah, okay, cool. This is a much better start for us. We have a lot of early game stuff. Opponent is playing. Okay, Lemon and Lime again, so we can definitely deal with that. We can definitely ink this cat because Kristoff is definitely better in this matchup. And then we can go for a Simba. And then we kind of want like a smaller tank. Find another Simba. We already have one in hand, so we can just get rid of this one, and then we can ink the other one. The reason I play it instead of the Duke is because we can hit into it and it does exactly the same thing, but it just gives us that extra card draw to look for what we need. I think the opponent thinks a Stitch there. I was looking at my hand. So there's the really annoying Simba, which should be fine. It's a good start for the opponent for sure. But we can definitely ink this Gothel. And then we can go for a Duke and a Simba. And then we can get the extra card draw that I was talking about. And then yeah, so we can quest with the Simba. So the reason I played these cards instead of a Flynn is because we're likely going to lose the race because they've got such a good start. But next turn I can hit the Duke and a Simba into their bodyguard Simba, and then use this Simba to hit this Lilo, and then we should be looking good. Ooh, and is that a 5-drop bodyguard? It is. So that is a really good high roll from the opponent there. There's definitely still hope though. So if we ink this Duke, we can go Kristoff. And then I don't think we can race it, so we should just start clearing out their board. And then there's no point in hitting this Simba into the Goofy, so I'll pass. Not pass, I'll quest and then pass. Yeah, so just in time is really good at just like securing a win, and they got a second one for a Mad Hatter, so yeah, it looks like we're finally gonna lose a game, but definitely a high roll from the opponent, like for sure. Yeah, so we find Tink. I think we do definitely want to play the Tink, but I don't think we have enough time at all, so I can just play 2 Flins, I guess. Yeah, and then we'll just hit both of these into this Goofy. Damn, those are 2 just-in-times to 2 5-drops against this deck is probably like unbeatable. So, you know, it's unfortunate that we're not going to end the second episode undefeated as well, but you know, it's an aggro deck that high rolled. There's not much we can really do. We didn't have the Tinkerbell, which could have made this a different story, honestly. But yeah, that's just kind of how card games go sometimes. Even if we clear this Goofy now, which I will do just for the sake of it, I still think we lose. Yeah, so there's that, ending episode 2 off on a 9-1 record. Totally fine, for sure. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how this deck went today, and like I say, guide will be out either tomorrow or today, so be ready for that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.